Billy, there isn't anybody else I'd rather have here up on stage with me than you. Billy was my big brother at college. He's still my big brother. I am honored and so proud to have him in my life. He's done so much for Fairleigh Dickinson lacrosse since all the records were lost. If it wasn't for him, nobody would even know about us. So thank you, Billy. I love you. Where's Sean? Sean here? There he is. Sean, this is one of the reasons why when you first called me, I got so emotional. To know that your university and your friends and your teammates from so long ago still remember you and still think of you, how could you not be emotional? The other reason why I got so emotional was because of my dad. I wish he was here with me today. He was my biggest fan. He started me playing the game of lacrosse. He bought me my first lacrosse stick. It was this big, and Billy was right. Anything I could pick up with it, I would throw. Sticks, rocks, everything. He took me to my first lacrosse game at our high school. I was probably third or fourth grade. I was in elementary school. We went to my high school, and people were getting hit. I'd hear the coaches yell, check, and somebody else was getting hit. I knew this game was for me. I fell in love with it right then and there. After the game, we went over to the sideline. My father wanted to introduce me to the coach, and we walked over there, and my dad said, this is my son, Buddy, and someday he's going to be playing here. He loves the sport. Coach brought us, he tapped me on the head and he said, do you have a stick? I said, yeah, I do. I have a little one. I showed it to him. It was a little tiny thing like this. He said, come over with me. We went over to the sideline. There were a bunch of sticks on the side. And he said, here, take this home with you. I want you to practice every day, so when you come back here, you're going to be ready. I took that stick, and it never left my hands. It was with me all the time. Even when I was playing baseball, I have a friend here I grew up with since elementary school. I always had that stick with me. I'd have the baseball glove hanging off of it. I went to all the games with it. Even though I was playing football, lacrosse, baseball, it didn't matter. I had that stick with me. This honor really isn't for me as much as it is for my parents. My dad came to every football and lacrosse game I ever played when I was in junior high school and high school. My mom, on the other hand, came to one game. I broke a kid's leg. She heard it from the stands. She cried for a week. She wanted me to send them flowers. I said, Ma, are you crazy? I can't send them flowers. That's all I have to do. She said, well, it's only right. You should do that. I said, no, I'm not sending flowers, Mom. She never came to another game because she was too afraid. When I told her about this award, she cried, and she said, you were always my biggest star, and your dad's, and I wish he was here with you also, because he would have been very proud of this. When I got the call from Sean, I was down in Florida opening another restaurant, and it was 3 days before my grand opening. Everything was going through my mind. It was going a million miles an hour. I'm driving on the road. I wasn't paying attention to anything other than all the last details for this restaurant. And I get a call, and I see 201. I wasn't going to answer it, but I picked it up, and I still really wasn't paying attention. And all I heard was Fairleigh Dickinson. Now, I haven't been to Fairleigh Dickinson in 34 years. So I'm thinking, they finally caught me. Library books. Now I'm figuring 25 cents a day, 34 years. I'm getting ready to call my wife, tell her to put all the Jimmy Choo shoes on eBay, sell the jewelry. This is going to be a big one. Then I think the next thing I said, I'm not sure, but I think the next thing I said to him was, are you sure? Are you sure this isn't for Neil Elliott? You're not trying to get it home, Neil Elliott? Sorry, Neil. But he said, no, this is for you, and I want to be the first to congratulate you. And then I know I couldn't talk after that. And Sean will be my witness. I broke up, and I just started crying like a big baby. And I can't thank you enough for that phone call, Sean. Thank you. No one starts playing the sport to become in the Hall of Fame, and I certainly did. I played lacrosse because I loved it. I was lucky enough to go to one of the best lacrosse schools in the country, the one I mentioned earlier, Sewanee Lacrosse. They produce more All-Americans than any other school in the country. And from junior high school to high school, I had to cover the best attackman that ever played the game. His name was Eamon McEnany. He was incredible. He was not only an All-American, he was an All-World. He played for the U.S. team after he graduated Cornell. And unfortunately, Eamon passed away at 9/11. He was working for Cantor and Fitzgerald, which a lot of people from Cantor and Fitzgerald that were from Cornell, because they all played lacrosse, and the president also played lacrosse there. So a lot of them went to Cornell. We used to speak during my first year in college, and I wasn't really happy at that time. I was living in Rutherford. Originally, I was supposed to go to Madison. I don't know what happened. Transcripts got all screwed up, and I wound up living in Rutherford and driving every day to Teaneck. And I hated it. I didn't know anybody in Rutherford. There was not one other lacrosse player or football player there, and I just wanted to get out. Toward the end of the season, 2 people stopped me from doing that. One was Billy Dello, my big brother. He talked me into moving with him over in Teaneck. He said, we'll have a great time, which we did. I can't go into those stories. The other one was Jay Horwitz. Jay's not here tonight. I know he broke his foot recently. I think he didn't make it because of that. Jay Horwitz talked me out. I went into his office one day, and those of you who know Jay will understand this. I said to him, Mr. Horwitz, I think I want to transfer out. A friend of mine at Cornell keeps calling me and said they need a good creaseman. And I'm not having a great time here, traveling back and forth. He looked at me, and he started to shake, and he actually threatened my life. He started fumbling through his desk. Now, I'm from Brooklyn originally. He started fumbling through his desk. I think he's going for a gun. He pulled out a piece of paper to show me that he was writing an article about me for the Post. He said, you're not going anywhere. Go home to the dorm tonight. Come back tomorrow. I expect you on the field, or I will shoot you. I came back the next day, ready to go. I said, Jay, I hope you didn't bring your gun. I'm staying. And he smiled at me. I sincerely want to thank everybody that showed up tonight. Here, we're going to need the tissues now. All these people that made the effort, coming from all over the country to see me, is just much more than I can ever expect. Ohio, California, Kathy, California, Chicago, Florida, Italy. No, Steve Donardo, you're not living in Italy. My co-captain, Steve Donardo, went back to the old country. No, he's still here. I especially want to thank Michael Eisenstein. I know he had a lot to do to get me up here. When Michael graduated, I knew he became an attorney, but I didn't know that he went to Iraq to fight in the war. And this is recently, and you know, not many people our age are going to go to Iraq and start fighting. But I saw a picture of him on Facebook. He was wearing camouflage. He was standing next to a big Army Hummer. He had a gun, a lacrosse stick, his lacrosse helmet and gloves. And I know that bin Laden took one look at that picture, and that's when he ran running for the hills. He said, what the hell is this? Thank you, Michael. Next, I'd like to thank John Levitt. Where's John? John? Oh, there you go. Oh, right there. First, for being a great friend. John visits me all the time in New York in one of my restaurants. Every time he comes, I have to sit and talk about old times. Second is because I know he had a lot to do with me being up here tonight. Thank you, John, for that. And third, John made sure that every athlete would stay on the field playing with injuries or without injuries. One year I played with a broken hand. John took my glove. He cut out all the guts. He put extra padding in it. He took the fingers off and he taped my hand like this so I can hold the stick. I never missed a practice or a game. John, I still can't open my hand. Maybe you can help me with that later. Thank you, John. The girls at Linden 7. I am also thanking you on behalf of every athlete that played any sport at Fairleigh Dickinson. You were at every home and away game, religiously. And I just can't believe that you're still here supporting us tonight. Thank you very much. You'll always have a place in my heart. David Langford and Sean Morrison, please keep up the great work you guys are doing, making all Fairleigh Dickinson students and athletes feel the emotions that I'm feeling tonight, and that letting us know that the university has not forgotten about us. I especially want to thank my wife, Jeanette, putting up with me for all these years. She's another one of my biggest fans. She's been at every one of my games since junior high school and high school. We've been going out since we're 16 years old. Through my ups and downs, she's always been there, but she knows when things are down, I'm coming back even stronger than before. That's what sports taught me. You may be down, but you're never out. Coach Jacobson, I want to thank you on behalf of millions of well, not millions maybe, I don't know, you're not that old. Thousands, though, of students that you taught throughout the years playing lacrosse. I know you had a hard time at Fairleigh because a lot of the students that played there, it was their first time they picked up a stick. And it was difficult for you, but the thing that they did have was a lot of heart, and that's what brought us a championship. You did a great job. Thanks, Coach. I have no children. My name ends with me. I'm the last Marino. In 100 years from now, no one's ever going to remember who I was or what I did. But there will always be a Fairleigh Dickinson, and there'll always be a Hall of Fame. This honor, this recognition, will stand throughout time. And because of this honor, I have a real legacy, which helps me honor my mom, my dad, my coaches, my teammates, and everyone who's helped me along the way. I couldn't imagine having a better legacy than the one you've honored with me tonight. Thank you very much.